All right, my good friends, this is Mr. Davis. I'm attempting to make a video for us here. I'm a little self-conscious on how I sound on video, and Kevin just got up from his nap, so I think he's going to be coming downstairs pretty soon. We're going to be talking about East Asia and the age of imperialism here, and we're specifically dealing with China. There's a lot of pictures in these slides, and they could be great sources that you might have to answer a question about. So we're talking about economic imperialism. This picture is called an opium den, and this is where the Chinese would just get together and lounge around and smoke opium together. The takeaway here is that they've relaxed the Chinese. They've relaxed them. They've lulled them to sleep, and they've allowed now the Europeans to come into their playground, so to speak. This is another really good picture that I wouldn't be surprised if you saw in some shape or form on the AP test. This is a Manchu leader. You know it's a Manchu by his haircut, shaved on top, and it has this big long ponytail. These are the white Europeans, and if you look over here, this is a leader from Japan, and kind of like the different yellow tints of his head that you can see. And they're just like they were carving up Africa here. They're trying to get a sphere of influence inside the Chinese. They are at this point, they're fighting to trade in China. They're not necessarily trying to totally take over the area because there's so many people, but they're just fighting to trade inside China. This is a picture from the port of Canton, and this shows you how many different countries were fighting to get inside the Chinese territory to trade with them. Today we're going to be talking tons about opium. This is an opium factory, a storage facility. I'm not a drug dealer. I hope you guys are not drug dealers, but this is how they store drugs. You can see there's so many things you could write about if you had to answer a question about this picture. You see how many people are used to store them. They climb up the scales, like how many levels are there? How big is this ladder? How strong are the guys from working here? So this is all opium, and this over here shows you all the great products that are being produced around the world. So just pause it, look at them for a second. A big takeaway about the cotton is that India used to produce a lot of cotton, but what's going to happen is that India now is going to be told by the British to produce opium. They can get cotton from Egypt, they can get cotton from America. Now India is going to be growing opium. And we'll talk about the Opium Wars, which the video has talked about. One thing that's going on is that people are upset with their government, and usually people get upset with their government when it becomes exploited, or they feel like they're not safe anymore, or basically they're losing money. And here people are upset with the Qing dynasty, Qing. I remember them because they conquered the Ming, which were the maritime empire, because I remember the mariners were who sponsored Zhang He, the admiral. But in this Taiping rebellion, this would be another good spot to pause it. Just read over it here, is that a group of people unhappy with the Qing, they feel like they've let the devil into their den, so to speak, to use that word again. One of the people that really kind of was a big force in this rebellion was Hong Zhiquan. He proclaimed himself the younger brother of Jesus Christ. He sent to cleanse the world of the demons and establish a heavenly kingdom of peace. And if you want to watch this video here, it's about a 5-minute video there. This is some pictures of the Taiping Rebellion. What they wanted to do, they were pretty radical. They wanted to take land all away from the people and just make it public land. They also wanted to get rid of foot binding and prostitution, opium smoking, which is a big one. A few other things. They were sexually segregating military camps of men and women. Seems pretty extreme. It doesn't go as well as I expected. And usually what happens in a revolt is you're left with the winners are usually generally pretty violent people because they needed violence to take over. And when the Taiping create Nanjing as their capital, it looks like it's going to be a done deal that they were going to take over the Qing. But people realized that they were a little radical, and they started questioning whether or not it was that bad of an idea to live under the Qing dynasty. Also, the Qing are going to get help